Coming up on today's show, this past week around 3,000 people graduated from the University of Tennessee. The economy is gradually recovering, but will recent grads face a harsh reality while looking for a job? We'll show you why the class of 2012 could have more options than it may think.
Also coming up today, some employers may want to see something more than a resume or application. We'll show you why some applicants are saying no. Welcome to UT Today, a news magazine program produced by the students of the University of Tennessee. I'm Allison Nickel.
And I'm Colin Skinner. Thanks for joining us.
Reports say employment is up, but could recent college grads still face problems landing a job? Reporter Brittany Nada is in studio to tell us what employment could look like for the class of 2012. Brittany?
Thanks, Allison. In April, the Department of Labor reported that employers added more than 850,000 jobs since December. This is the highest job growth in 2 years, but some reports are saying the job hunt could be bleak for recent college graduates. I took a look at what the class of 2012 could face in upcoming months.
The unemployment rate in the U.S. dropped to 8.2%, the lowest it's been since early 2009.
Over the past 2 years, our businesses have added nearly 4 million new jobs.
But recent reports show that 1 in 2 college graduates are either unemployed or underemployed.
Right after graduating, I had a job as a swim coach. It wasn't really a career move.
UT's Career Services Assistant Director of Recruiting, Mary Mahoney, encourages students not to lose hope because they've seen a rise in employment for grads.
We are seeing a good trend, an increase in hiring, and employers are kind of back on track.
But for those who aren't so confident on the job hunt, Career Services offers many ways for students to get ahead.
But the question still remains, why are some recent graduates underemployed?
As a sociology major, you don't really have a direct career path.
Career Services advises all students to gain experience through internships and working while in school. In the end, they say, landing the job is all about networking and highlighting your strengths. In addition to Career Services, the university hosts events like job panels that allow students to ask advice from professionals. While it remains the students' responsibility to be proactive on the job hunt, Mahoney says Career Services is willing to help make it a little easier. For UT Today, I'm Brittany Nada.
College graduates could face another major problem, debt. Right now, student loan debt exceeds $1 trillion in the U.S., and this number could rise if Congress doesn't act soon. Interest rates on student loans are scheduled to double to 6.8% July 1st. Back to you.
Thanks, Brittany. In a weak job market, the pool of job applicants gets even deeper. So to narrow their choices, many employers are dipping into candidates' personal Facebook pages for background checks, leaving many to wonder, is this ethical? Anna Patterson has the details.
With graduation right around the corner, many students on University of Tennessee's campus are thinking about jobs. But this job hunt will come with a new twist. In addition to character questions and resume reviews, some companies will require a Facebook username and password. Students across campus feel this is an invasion of privacy.
The Bill of Rights is set there so that people are protected from the government doing this sort of things, and it's definitely a big intrusion on privacy.
A lot of people have two different sides to them, like a business side and a personal side, and I think it's better to just keep those separate.
And many students say they would not give out this information if asked.
No, I would not. If they asked me that to get a job, I would say, I'll see you later. I will look for a job somewhere else.
They're free to be friends with me and look at my page, but why do they need to do that? That just doesn't seem necessary to me.
And the students who would give out their login information are still confused why companies would need it.
I still think it's a little bit strange that they would want that because it is kind of like I'm giving a part of myself to them. But ultimately, it's not as much of a factor for me.
As more businesses are requiring login information, legality is being questioned. Illinois and Maryland both have developing legislation to forbid the practice. But without legislation preventing the practice in Tennessee, Career Services consultant for the College of Communications, Elizabeth Pallardy, says interviewees have the right to say no.
But it does risk, if that's really required, or they're really wanting that, you may not get the position and have to face that. But beyond that, another option could be agreeing to log in, not giving them the password, but logging in and letting them look over your shoulder to kind of see that information.
She says there are a few uncommon items job searchers should be aware of on their Facebook.
What pages are you liking? What groups do you belong to? Are there affiliations on there? Employers also are looking at just in general how you interact with people and communication.
Any negative posting could hurt chances of being hired. Anna Patterson, UT Today.
Recently, Facebook issued a statement saying employers asking for application login information is against their terms of service. There has been a lot of controversy surrounding the Knoxville Tourism and Sports Corporation. The nonprofit's spending habits and paychecks came under fire early this year. Now local leaders are deciding what to do with one of the buildings the corporation manages. The Women's Basketball Hall of Fame is a museum dedicated to preserving the history of women's basketball. It is the only facility of its kind with the world's largest basketball, weighing in at 10 tons. Knoxville has been the home of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame for over 15 years, but its future is in jeopardy. Knox County Mayor Tim Burchett says the building isn't something the government should run. Taxpayers pay $150,000 each year to maintain the building, so the county has put it up for sale. Dana Hart is the vice president and general manager of the Hall of Fame.
I want to make sure that the Hall of Fame stays in Knoxville because I think this is the place for it to be. It is, one of the hotbeds and one of the best places for women's basketball in the nation. The Knoxville Tourism and Sports Corporation manages the Hall of Fame and is currently undergoing several changes. And we are in the process of separating those two entities, KTSC and the Hall of Fame or the SMI board. So that is the process with everything that has taken place in the news recently. 30,000 visit the Hall of Fame each year and come for reasons outside of basketball. We do a variety of events here at the Hall of Fame. We do private events, which would include anything from sorority fraternity functions, corporate events, board of director meetings, any kind of after-hour community events like that. But we also do the NCAA Fast Break education programs. And those are programs from kindergarten through 5th grade that fit into the Tennessee State curriculum. We did a timeline lesson that fit in with the timeline of women's basketball and the timeline of history. There are many Lady Vols that have earned a spot in the Hall and have helped make Knoxville its home. And for now, the Hall of Fame's future remains unclear. For UT Today, I'm Allison Nickel. The 32,000 square foot building and its property are worth a whopping $9.3 million. Knox County leaders say if the property were sold, its profits would go towards paying off the county's $1 billion debt.
And with tuition on the rise, some college students are having trouble with extra expenses. Discover if electronic textbooks could cut costs for students. All this and more after the break. 4UT juniors are finalists in a national contest for their business plan. They've created a website and a plan to take it beyond UT's campus.
A funny thing happened to UT junior Richmond Watkins while trying to figure out how to pay his fraternity dues last November.
I was sitting in the ATO house. I lived there at the time, and just kind of hit me one night, the disconnect between how we're using Facebook to make events and how we're using our email to communicate and how we're using Omega Phi to pay dues.
An idea about unifying all these things popped into his head.
And then it just kind of came to me. I was like, well, we need something that all Greeks can use to communicate.
Richmond shared his idea with the Pike, who got 2 other fraternity guys on board. Soon, a collective plan was born, Greek Connect. Grant Blevins, another junior at UT, has helped develop the site's features and appearance since the beginning of the project.
Colin and I have worked over the past, year to develop this site, all the content you see on the site.
So far, the business plan has been so good that the boys, with the help of the creator of Fandango, have entered it into 2 contests.
We had a 15-minute presentation worth 5 minutes of questions in front of a board of judges. So we made that next round down to 5, which was 5-minute presentation with 15 minutes of questions. And then we know we've made it to the top 3.
Grant says the functionality of their site will trump the disorganization within Greek life.
Anybody who's in a fraternity and sorority knows the disconnect with those chapters, and not only inside your chapter, but with the other ones. So with Greek Connect, you'll be able to easily post anything. Study files, every fraternity and sorority has study files. You'll be able to upload all those study files onto Greek Connect.
A promising future for the Greek Connect innovative site makes it the next big thing, not only on Fraternity Row at UT, but beyond.
We'll probably be in just the SEC for 3, 4, 5 years before we really look to kind of take it nationwide. It's kind of surreal almost, seeing it actually come together. I just can't wait till I can get on there and click around.
For UT Today, I'm Colin Skinner.
If they win, they look to take home a $20,000 prize. Greek Connect is scheduled to launch next month.
Lots of people use tablets for browsing social media sites and surfing the internet, but will college classrooms be doing more with these new technologies? Reporter Rachel Stowers looks at how digital formats could change learning expenses for college students.
Would you like a bag? If you talk to any college student about textbooks, more than likely they'll say they're too expensive. Students spend on average $900 on textbooks per year. Andrew Tanker, a UT graduate student, is one of many who are frustrated with the cost of textbooks. He hopes new electronic textbook formats will leave more money in his wallet.
I think we could do a lot to lower the prices or change the system so that we could fix the problem for students because they're already paying enough in tuition.
Dr. Jim Stovall, a UT journalism professor and textbook author, hopes new digital formats will help reduce students' expenses. However, he says the cost benefits of electronic textbooks still remain uncertain.
We just don't know yet. We don't know. I think books are going to be more expensive to produce. They're going to be less expensive to distribute.
But at least one thing's for certain. Carrying around a light electronic device like an iPad or tablet is a whole lot easier than lugging around a heavy backpack. Electronic textbooks could do more than just lighten a student's load. Stovall says digital formats have the capability of making learning more engaging for readers.
One of the things that these new formats allow us to do is to develop new kinds of content that we've never been able to do before, things that students who are reading the book can interact with.
Still, students like Andrew Tanker say adjusting to these new formats could take some time.
You know, everyone would have to have some time to adjust to it and figure out, you know, how to best utilize their iPad or whatever electronic source they had.
Hopefully, these new technological advancements will not only enhance learning for students, but make textbooks more affordable as well. Reporting for UT Today, this is Rachel Stowers.
Right now, some universities are testing these new formats in their classrooms. Time will only tell when UT students will replace paper-bound books with tablets.
Coming up after the break, we're just a couple months away from football time in Tennessee. We'll take a look at how the Vols played in their annual orange and white game next.
As spring sports draw to a close, the fall teams are gearing up for next season.
Adam, how's the football season looking for August?
It's looking good, Colin. Head coach Derek Dooley says his team made a lot of headway during this spring practice. The team got the show on the road as they took on the orange and white scrimmage. Reporter Scott Modern has made some highlights from the game.
Scott Modern here at Neyland Stadium for the annual orange and white game. The question marks heading into this year's spring game are how has Tennessee's running game improved, how is Sal Sunseri's new 3-4 defense going to look, and how are injured players like Justin Hunter recovering.
There was a little more than just bragging rights on the line for the winner of the 2012 Orange and White game. The winning team would receive a steak dinner. The spring game put the Vols' first team defense on the Orange team, while the Vols' first team offense was on the White team. The Orange team won a tight game 17-14. Tennessee head coach Derek Dooley felt the things the Vols tried to improve on showed improvement during the spring game.
Some of the things that we said we were improving on in the spring continued to show up, so we ran the ball a lot better. Didn't stop the run, so that's always the kind of give and take.
That improvement in the running game was big for the Vols, who only averaged 2.7 yards per carry last season. Tailback Marlon Lane led the way for the Orange team with 109 yards and a pair of touchdowns. The teams combined for 251 total rushing yards. Coach Dooley was not pleased with some of the mistakes made during the game.
He's making a lot of critical mistakes in critical situations. That's something we obviously need to get better before next fall.
The Orange team held the White team to only 240 yards, which is a sign the transition to Sal Sunseri's new 3-4 defense is going smoothly. Safety Brian Randolph said the light bulb came on for him when he learned the concepts of the defense.
It's just like instead of learning plays, we learn concepts of the defense. So like we understand football more. So that's when the light bulb came on. When I start knowing what everybody else does.
In their first game, the Vols will face off against the NC State Wolfpack in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic on August 31st. The UT football team isn't the only program to produce some big names. A lot of baseball players have gone on to play in the majors after their UT. Reporter Josh Williams catches up with a former UT pitcher about his remarkable 2005 season.
Former Vol Luke Hochevar was taken with the first overall pick in the 2006 MLB draft, but before he left college, he led the Big Orange to the College World Series in 2005. For Hochevar, the 05 campaign was one that helped springboard his career.
I think that year was a very, very big stepping stone for me in my career. You know, the coaching that I had here at Tennessee, but also the teammates that I had around me. You know, I mean, I had guys, you know, that wanted to be great as well. And when you surround yourself with a bunch of winners, a bunch of guys that, you know, are hard workers, a bunch of guys that want to win a national championship, it only makes you better.
The right-hander won the Roger Clemens Award that year, given to the nation's top pitcher. Hochevar credits his success to simply making good pitches.
You make good pitches and you're good. You make bad pitches and you're not good. It's almost that simple.
Vols clinched their trip to Omaha and Atlanta against Georgia Tech, and for Hochevar, the win was the culmination of years of hard work.
I mean, it's one of the greatest feelings that I've ever had on a baseball field. You know, winning that last game to go to Omaha and everything that we'd worked for, you know, the past 3 years, and just, you know, killing ourselves at 6 a.m. in the weight room, or, you know, early morning runs, you know, working hard at practice, all that stuff just paying off. It was just like, it was so worth it. It was so worth it just to be in the bottom of that dog pile.
Even today, fans in Kansas City remember Hochevar's 2005 performance.
College World Series is really, really big out there. I mean, Omaha's, you know, 3 hours from Kansas City, and so those people love the College World Series. And when I was in AAA playing in Omaha, there's a lot of people from Omaha that, I remember 2005, you know, and you know, that brings back a lot of good memories.
For UT Today, I'm Josh Williams.
Hochevar was a first-round draft pick for the 2005 MLB draft. Switching over to the softball diamond, you could say it's talent or good genes. But one thing's for sure, the Renfro sisters sure can play some softball. Reporter Lindsay Neesmith has more on this dynamic duo.
You know them. They're the dynamic pitching duo that brings a force on the mound. 2 sisters, 2 pitchers, 1 team. Ellen and Ivy Renfro. It's their second year together, and so far, they see it as a gift.
It's a special bond with sisters, and so you just know when each other is like, she's not feeling too good. You can tell when something's going on. So that's been such a blessing that the Lord has allowed to happen in our lives, for us to be able to play with each other.
It can help you out pitching-wise, just because, you know, she's worked with me my entire life. We've pitched together, gone to the same pitching coach. Yeah.
But like any siblings, fighting, it comes with a title.
I mean, you have to get over it, though, because we're together all the time. We drive the same car, like, share the same car.
I think we would get over it anyway, just because that's our relationship. We're not going to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
But the sisterly bond doesn't stop there. Next season, the Lady Vols softball team will have not 1, not 2, but 3 Renfro sisters. Younger sister Anna Renfro will join as a freshman in the fall. Anna says having her 2 older sisters already there will be a big help.
I know that they'll help me a lot, and because they already know the coaches and a lot what they like from their players, and especially in studies. I know it's a lot to manage and time to manage, and they'll be able to help me a lot in that and just keep me focused.
Parents Marty and Emily Renfro are more than excited for all 3 girls to be together.
Love it. Can't wait to see it. And they've been on the same team before, but of course not at this level.
No.
And it'll be good just to have them in all one place, because we're having to follow her with high school still, and been doing that, back and forth since Ivy's been here. So it'll be nice just to go to one place next spring.
Reporting for UT Today, I'm Lindsay Neesmith.
Well, we're excited to see what these sisters will bring to the table next spring. With a total of 18 men and women's teams and more than 500 student athletes, keeping all in check is one tough job. But Women's Athletic Director Joan Cronin takes it all in stride. Reporter and former Lady Vol Glory Johnson has more.
Joan Cronin has been the Women's Athletic Director at the University of Tennessee for 28 years. After being named Vice Chancellor and Director of Athletics last June, Joan continues to appreciate what the university has done for the women's game.
The reason I got into women's athletics, because at 12 they wouldn't let me play Little League Baseball. It made me mad. And I wanted to be in a business that helped women learn to compete. And I can tell you, nobody has done that better than the University of Tennessee.
Loving the opportunity to work with student athletes on and off the floor, Joan enjoys watching each player develop and mature.
My favorite thing about working at the University of Tennessee is the opportunity to work with student athletes and watch them come in to actually recruit them and then watch them come in as freshmen and mature and then sign big basketball contracts or go in to be a lawyer or a doctor or an Indian chief.
As the head coach of the Lady Vols in 1969, just 4 seasons before Pat Summitt took over, Joan considers Pat to be more than just a friend.
Pat Summitt is a friend and a colleague. She has been, in my opinion, an icon for women's athletics, an icon for women's basketball, and the best ambassador for the University of Tennessee has ever had.
With Pat Summitt now passing on the head coaching position to former associate coach Holly Warlick, Pat's astonishing legacy will never be forgotten. I'm Glory Johnson with UT Today.
This summer, the men and women's program will merge into one. Dave Hart will become the first athletic director of both programs, but Joan Cronin will still be around UT. She will become the senior advisor to Hart and Chancellor Jimmy Cheek this summer. Allison?
Thanks, Adam. Coming up this year, 5 seniors were awarded the highest student honor at UT.
I'll show you what I learned about one recipient next. The Torchbearer Award is the highest honor an undergrad can receive at UT. This award is given to seniors for scholastic achievement and outstanding service. I sat down with one of the 5 recipients, and here's his story.
The life and times for most students at UT do not include wearing a suit per day, a smile per minute, or a friendly hello about every second. But for 2012 Torchbearer Senior recipient Drew Shapiro, the life and times at the University of Tennessee are different than most.
These are the good groups you want to hang out with. These are the groups that you want, the organization you want to be involved in. You know, if you really want to make a difference on campus, join these groups. And if you don't, then you get some other groups. You want to have fun? Go that way. Being the ultimate volunteer.
And he literally is just that, as was reflected at the ceremonial passing down of entitlements at the first meeting for the newly elected SGA Senate this year. Drew received recognition as this year's Student Services Director and as Torchbearer, one of the 5 distinguished this year. Faculty praised his service and dedication to UT, 2 things that this Torchbearer has learned over his 4-year student career.
It's taught me everything. It's taught me a lot of humility. It's taught me different things of everything I know about leadership, morality, and really a good thing is discipline. That's a big thing to carry on. You know, keep grinding it out, keep pushing through all the hard work.
Being a volunteer is all that Drew could have ever wished for.
And I was fortunate enough and really lucky and blessed to receive Torchbearer. It's a huge honor, and I am forever grateful. So it really has been a good tenure here at the University of Tennessee.
For UT Today, I'm Colin Skinner.
Mary, how you doing?
Shapiro will graduate this May with a 3.9 GPA. He plans to attend medical school in coming years.
With this, we end our season of UT Today. Thanks for watching. I'm Allison Nickel.
And I'm Colin Skinner. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. Goodbye.